So, a few weeks ago, there was this Overwatch YouTuber named Amaterasu, a top 500 Kiriko player, who released a very, let's say, questionable video about Kiriko, and I just wanted to talk about it because it's not looking good for the support community. So the first point Amaterasu makes in his video is about Kiriko's damage, which a lot of people think is busted. And to do this, he brings up a Twitter thread from Overwatch Anonymous where it says, "People need to stop complaining about Kiriko headshot when a lot of heroes have the ability to two-shot. It's not like you're going to hit every single kunai. People just don't like that a support hero can do this. Yours truly, a Kiriko main." Funnily enough, he then shows a response to this tweet saying, "Almost anyone remotely decent knows the kunai damage is busted. It'd be remotely balanced if she had to actually get close to do that kind of damage, not throw it across the map and diff Widows. It's almost ironic that Widow has damage fall up and kunai doesn't."
And this tweet I just found funny. First off, they start off with almost anyone remotely decent knows the kunai damage is busted, immediately implying that anyone who disagrees with you is dumb, stupid, and bad at the game. Great start to an argument. You can tell that this user is a veteran of internet arguments, considering that they started off with a left hook like that.
You see, the problem with calling him out on that, though, is that he's completely right. The entire reason people complain about Kiriko's damage is because she can throw a kunai from her own spawn across the entire map and still manage to two-shot someone for free, even though Widow can't do that. Amaterasu then goes on to say one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life and say that why does Ana get to have hit scan and no damage fall off while Kiriko doesn't? And come on, man, just use your brain for a second. That's because Ana only has hit scan when she's aimed in, and when she 80 strafes, she can barely move side to side. She's standing still. And Kiriko has the tiniest hitbox in the world and is still moving at full speed. Like, it's ridiculous. How do you not think of that? He then goes on to say that Kiriko's damage is very inconsistent, which it's just wrong. It just isn't. Most Kirikos just have bad aim, and this clip right here is a prime example of most Kirikos having bad aim. And the first time I saw this clip, I just started dying laughing to myself and thought, of course you don't think Kiriko's damage is broken if you can't hit a fucking shot. He hit like one kunai in this entire clip and melee once and then had to TP away with another broken ability Kiriko has. Another little comment I gotta add is that he says a reason Kiriko's so broken right now is because Maga and Hog are good, and Hog just isn't that good. He gets countered by Maga. Sigma counters him, which is also another good tank. Zarya can counter him, which is another good tank. Diva can eat all of his hooks. Junker Queen is also good against Hog. Literally every tank that is good right now counters Hog. The next thing Amaterasu uses to justify Kiriko not having fall-off damage is the fact that her primary fire is obviously a projectile. But she falls into the half of characters whose projectiles move in a straight line no matter how far you go, unlike Hanzo's arrows that have an arc, Torbjorn's primary fire that has an arc, and Junkrat's primary fire that has an arc. The only other characters that have straight line primaries are Zen, Pharah, Orisa, and Sojourn. Orisa and Sojourn obviously we're not going to talk about because their primary fires don't do that much damage per bullet. Pharah's rockets are incredibly slow and very easy to move away from. Kiriko's kunai are very small and hard to see sometimes, and they can just half health you out of nowhere. And no one really complains about Zen, but Zen is really bad right now, and that's why no one's playing him.
And I think that really defines Kiriko as a character. It's not that she's broken or overpowered, she's just obnoxious and annoying.
Stop the cap! Stop the cap right now! Stop the cap! No bullshit, bro!
See, the funny thing is that Kiriko is not just both obnoxious and annoying, she's all four. She's broken, overpowered, obnoxious, and annoying. He then says that Kiriko's abilities are very inconsistent, like Suzu, which just, bro, it makes no sense. Maybe you think that because you're wasting it on useless things? Because I see a lot of Kirikos in my games wasted on useless things, like this one right here. As you can see, my Kiriko in this clip literally used Suzu on nothing. I was full health, she was full health, there was nothing to use it on, and it lost us the game because then I just got instantly slept and antied afterward. Amaterasu then says that it's funny that people think Kiriko can diff Widow so easily since it requires her to peek into the Widow twice and not get headshot. But what he doesn't understand, again, is that Kiriko's hitbox is literally miniature. She doesn't lose movement speed while AD strafing, and she can just jiggle a wall and instantly kill a Widow before she can even react. The final point about Kiriko's damage that he uses, again, is that they're very hard to hit, and it's only a small chance that you're going to hit them, and it's not going to be consistent, and you're not going to get consistent headshots. But this is really easy to get consistent headshots and hit them a lot, especially against a tank that's pushing you. Like, in the middle of a team fight, if your tank is fighting the enemy tank and you just land 2 headshots, that enemy tank is going to be at a huge disadvantage. That's over 200 damage instantaneously, and they might have to back off. Finally, we're moving on to the entire reason Amaterasu said he made this video, the Metro clip. So before I talk about anything he says about the clip, I'm just going to play it.
Yeah. It is so ridiculous that he can do that, right? Be an absolute shitter. See, if the Sojourn commits, right, he dies because it's fair. If the Kiri commits, she can just get out after missing everything. That was the perfect example. These last 20 seconds showed everything that's...
So the main thing here, Amaterasu says, is that Metro's argument is that the game is broken because Kiriko could come, int in, teleport out, make a bunch of mistakes, and live. And yeah, that's true, and he tries to say that Metro's making a lot of mistakes, and sure, his flank might be a little questionable, but he does kill Sojourn, and if Kiriko didn't have stupid abilities like teleport and Suzu, he would have very well gotten 2 picks, and that's huge. 2 picks for 1, and he got a support. That's massive. Amaterasu then goes on to make this really weird and unusual like accuracy tracker for them for their fight. I don't really know what the point was, but I'm gonna talk about it anyways.
Based on the sound effects, Kiriko throws 12 kunais in the clip and lands 3 of them, with 1 of them being a critical hit, giving Kiriko a total accuracy of 25%. Meanwhile, Metro fires approximately 21 bullets, and for his sake, I opted to not include any of the bullets fired at the Kiriko whilst he was in vuln from Suzu, just because we can't tell if they would have actually hit or not, and out of those 21 bullets, he lands only 5 of them, giving him a total accuracy of 24%. So yes, in this clip, the Kiriko is actually playing better than Metro is, and yet she is the one that is forced back.
So not only is this Kiriko not playing better because she had to waste both of her broken cooldowns against a soldier instead of just hitting 1 headshot and 1 body shot, which would have killed them anyways. Amaterasu says that shooting the 2 Helix rockets on the floor was bad. I would love to see him play soldier and try and hit Helix rockets, direct hit on Kiriko, or like anyone at long range. Most of the time you do shoot Helix rockets at the ground. And Kiriko's hitbox is so small that top 500 players actually aim at her dress and legs because that's easier to hit than her torso and head. Like, that isn't bad gameplay at all. One more thing I want to say is that this accuracy thing doesn't really matter at all in the grand scheme of the game. Like, sure, Metro had 24% accuracy in this 1 fight, but that isn't his accuracy throughout the entire match. And I bet you'd make the same argument to that aim clip I showed earlier, that all Kiriko's have bad aim. No, that's just 1 clip. Okay, that's just 1 clip of Metro having worse than normal aim. And finally, Amaterasu says that Soldier is one of the hardest characters to hit with projectiles because he has a 0-second movement cooldown. And I guess you can argue this, but like in a fight, Soldier can't shoot while he's sprinting, so it's not like he's gonna kill you anyways. Also, never mind, I definitely have one more thing to say about this, because Amaterasu then goes on to say that Soldier is more forgiving to play than Kiriko, because Soldier is definitely the character that can teleport to her teammates through walls, cleanse negative effects, and have a cooldown every 14 seconds that's basically an ult that makes you immortal. Now getting back on topic, Amaterasu then talks about Metro's reply to his own tweet where he says, "My favorite part is when she came back because she got healed for free because of the support passive, to then miss another 4 shots just to kill me with a melee. Support players are delusional." And honestly, base the Metro take. Very rare base the Metro take, because this is just true. There's almost no other heroes that would have been able to do what Kiriko just did. She came in, lost the 1v1, Suzu'd herself to become immortal, teleported out for free, came back when she was healed from her passive, and then killed him anyways. And again, That would have been 2 picks instead of 1 if it was any other hero but Kiriko. Amaterasu then puts a caption in his video saying, "Also, since I think I forgot, the Kiri's only mistake is her accuracy. Her play of going after a low HP target on her own backline is fine, and she used both abilities well, and she did not use both abilities well. What if in the front lines, there was a Junker Queen on the enemy team that had just popped ult, but instead of being there to help her team, she just wasted Suzu and teleported on some guy in the backline. Also, she could have told her teammates that Metro was in the backline, and she could have gotten help instead of having to go there 1v1 and waste both of her insane cooldowns." And finally, here is the sentence that was the entire reason I wanted to make this video.
Then he could have just dropped his healing station, which is stronger than any support ability in the game, or than any support ability in the game, any support ability in the game.
This man has just said that Soldier Heal Station is better than any support ability in the game. Must I say more about how fucking bad this video is after he just said that? Literally any support ability in that situation against Metro would have let them live. Lifeweaver pedaling the ground and going to high ground lets him live. Anti-nade completely cuts off his healing. Immor gives Bap an entire second health bar, and Suzu makes you immortal and lets you teleport away. Surely, Soldier Heal Station is better than all of these abilities. He then goes on to call Soldier a broken hero, even though Sojourn exists, which is again just another fucking egregious take. Like, after this point in the video, everything he says is just wrong and stupid. Finally, he goes on to complain about just how much Soldier Heal Station heals you, but like, again, it doesn't fucking matter. If that Kiriko hit a single headshot, he would have died. Kiriko headshot does over 100 damage. Metro was lower than 100 health. If Kiriko hit 1 headshot, he would have died. The next part of Amaterasu's video is talking about hitboxes, and he starts off with this tweet by Metro saying that Kiriko's kunai are very easy to hit because of how fucking big the hitbox is, and this is true. Kiriko's kunai are a massive hitbox, and they're very easy to hit. And then Amaterasu goes into the training range to test out the hitboxes and then starts shooting the fucking floor as if that's what Metro meant by the hitbox. Obviously you can't shoot through the fucking ground, but if Tracer were to jump, that'd be part of her hitbox. Obviously the fucking ground is not going to be part of the hitbox. And then he goes on to call the hitboxes in the Metro tweet just estimates and that they're completely wrong, but they aren't even wrong. Like, look at this clip, like, the hitboxes are perfectly accurate. Kiriko's kunai are huge. Amaterasu then goes on to make on some point about like projectiles and hit scan. The character hitbox is the same, but that doesn't matter. It's because the projectile itself is larger than the hit scan bullet size. And then he does this stupid thing in the range on Soldier where he barrel stuffs a Tracer and shows that the hitbox isn't exactly accurate. But obviously it's going to be easier to land a shot when your projectile size like Kiriko kunai is 3 times the size of any hit scan bullet. Like, this proved nothing. Like, we already know hitboxes are bad, but kunai projectile size is still fucking humongous. On to the next part of Amaterasu's video. He goes on to say that people calling Suzu overpowered is only because they hear the word invincibility and their brain turns off and they think invincibility is broken. But yes, invincibility is broken. It's always broken. It'll always be broken, and it has always been broken, and everyone has complained about it since BAP. He then says that he believes it's inconsistent because of how short the invincibility duration is, but that literally doesn't matter. You literally have a pocket ultimate that stops other ultimates. Junker Queen ult, tough. Shattered, tough. Fluxed, tough. So many ults are just stopped by a single E-click. Like, bro, it doesn't matter. He then goes on to say that in common game situations, Suzu healing more rather than granting invulnerability would get more value, but again, that's just wrong. Like, becoming invulnerable at any time is just absolutely broken. Like, your tank overextends, you make him immortal and he gets back into position. Literally, you get caught out of position, you throw it on yourself, you're immortal, you can get back into position. Again, the strongest support cooldown in the game right now is probably anti-nade, since it fucking destroys half the tank roster, and Kiriko is literally the only way to get around it. The next thing Amaterasu does in his video is compare Suzu to other self-protection abilities like Wraith, Deflect, and Zarya Bubble. And I'll give him Wraith. That Wraith is pretty good. It's lasts longer than Suzu. But again, it's only for yourself. You can't just protect your entire team from, let's say, a Diva Bomb. Wraith would only save yourself. And Deflect can protect from a Diva Bomb. Stuff can go through it. Sure, it lasts longer. Sure, it's on a shorter cooldown. But there are definitely, just shoot him in the back. Or play characters that counter Genji anyways, like Mei, Sim, Moira. And then, again, the same argument for Bubble. It's only single target. You're only gonna save yourself. If you get 5-man ulted, you only save yourself. What's the point? If your 4 other teammates die, the fight's lost anyways. But Suzu can save you and your entire team. The only one of these 3 abilities that's really even comparable is Wraith, because it does the same thing as Suzu. It makes you completely, like, invincible, intangible. Like, you can't even get interacted with abilities. But the Deflect you can still interact with. You can still shoot through it, affect it. Zarya Bubble as well. If you're not shooting it, that gets value for your team, because if the Zarya is not charged, she gets pretty much fucked up by every other tank. A low charge Zarya doesn't really do anything. And finally, onto Kiriko's second broken ability, Swift Step. And honestly, there's nothing to say. He agrees with me. This ability is stupid. It's broken. That's it. It lets you play a hyper aggro flanker playstyle where you just go into the enemy backline. If you fuck up, you can just Suzu yourself and TP away for free. Someone tries to ult you, you just TP away from your teammates. You're the last one alive in a team fight. You can just hide in a corner, wait till your teammates get close enough and TP to them so you don't get staggered. There's just so much this ability. It just makes Kiriko incredibly hard to kill and incredibly hard to catch. One of the final things Amaterasu talks about in his video is how community perception can ruin the game, as he thinks Kiriko gets inconsistent value and is pretty mid as a hero. The devs can never buff her because the community would go apeshit because they think she's OP, and they're right. Honestly, I don't know what Amaterasu is trying to defend about Kiriko. She's just really good and has so many broken abilities. Swift Step is obviously dumb, get out of jail free card, lets her play stupid aggro flank with her insane damage. Suzu is obviously stupid, immortality, cleanse effect, the only way to get out of anti-nade. Her ultimate's good, she has a tiny hitbox, she can 2-tap people, like there's nothing bad about her. And he stresses constantly how she has a low win rate, and we do know that the devs like to balance around a win rate, but that just isn't a good thing for the game, because we all remember the Season 2 and Season 1 fiasco where they refused to nerf Sojourn for the longest time because metal rank players couldn't hit the headshot even though Sojourn was absolutely fucking busted. To support his argument about community perception, he talks about how the devs can't nerf Orisa because she's the worst performing tank in the game, and people would go apeshit if she gets buffed, but like, she isn't even the worst performing tank in the game. I mean, Orisa's pretty fucking bad, but Wrecking Ball is by far the worst tank in the game, which is another example on why using win rates to determine a character's balance just isn't a good thing. Amaterasu then goes on to talk about how he was dueling with his friend and he would just play Kiriko and enable his friend's hog, and that how his friend would get happy if people tried to counterpick him on Orisa. But the thing is that Orisa doesn't even counter hog anymore. The entire reason Orisa was known for countering hog is because she was able to stop his heal, but she can't even do that anymore ever since the hog rework, so I mean, that was a bad pick anyways. Another thing Amaterasu uses to justify calling Kiriko a mid-hero is an owl Overwatch League, that Kiriko is just an ult bot, and saying how Fielder, one of the best Kirikos in the league, would play games where he wouldn't throw a single kunai, but you gotta remember that the meta was Kiriko Lucio. Lucio isn't healing that much. You kinda need to heal bot on Kiriko if you're gonna have a Lucio as your partner. She becomes the main healer. Anyways, that's the end of the video. He doesn't really talk about anything else. He just talks about how he's not really a strong opinionated person and that this is just his opinion. I'm gonna be honest, it's kinda, most of it's wrong, but that's also just my opinion. And yeah, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching.